group. Sorry, I had some trouble here, but okay. Introductions. My name's Anton Call. I'm an Albanian in London, working with startups normally right after they get investment. I embed within their teams and help them hire and keep the right people. I also do some growth advisory work with a few other startups, and I've been helping some angels and family offices with their due diligence and assessments. Perhaps we can go to Avent, then Robert, then Alessandro.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Avent Bezednote. My background is in corporate finance advisory, initially with BDO in London, and for about the last 25 years, I've been doing VC investing. It was mostly generalist until about 6 years ago, where I joined Earth Capital to focus on sustainable technology, and I became the CEO of Earth Capital years ago, and then we exited in December last year. And since then, I work as a non-exec or an advisor to venture capital-backed businesses, and I also do some turnaround work.
Amazing profile. Hi, everyone. Greetings from Glasgow. Robert Hoken here. I'm a partner at Greenbackers Investment Capital. My background, it's a Chicago accent you're hearing, but I've been in the UK 35 years. Corporate finance is my background. Used to be on the M&A team at ABB, WorldCom and Marconi. I'm also a fellow in Sustainable Ventures. So my sweet spot and my passion is climate-related technology. So I've been an investor, I've been a founder, I've exited 3 of my founded businesses, shut down 1, and turned around 1. So done a bit of everything. Look at a lot of decks. You learn a trick or 2 from doing it. Happy to be here.
Hello, everyone. This is Alessandro, originally Italian, but have been living in England for the last 30 years. I have a background in investment banking. I've been working in the city and in New York for the first 13 years of my career, and then have become an entrepreneur, focused on supporting entrepreneurs and also fund managers with their fundraising and deployment. Over the last 10 years, I have been focusing more and more on impact investing, which means we really love supporting entrepreneurs which are launching businesses that leverage technology to drive very significant impact in solving social and environmental issues. And we do that by supporting with strategic advice, investor introductions, as well as growth advisory. And I've also launched other businesses with my co-founders, and I'm an angel investor myself. So with my wife, we align as much as possible our savings and our capital to the impact we want to see in the world. And happy to answer any questions you have.
Is amazing. Thank you very much from all 3 of you. Really appreciate that. Now, we've had about 290,000 people tune into our session since we've started, and none of that would have happened without people like Evans and Robert and Alessandro. So if you panelists would like to drop your LinkedIn URLs in the chat, and maybe just a brief sentence into what's your forte and what you mainly like to deal with, please feel free to do that. And I'd like to encourage everyone, those here live, but also those listening to the live streams, or when you'll listen to the recording, please feel free to follow them. In that time, maybe what we can do is get some do's and don'ts. I'm sure you've seen quite a bit of stuff go wrong, but also stuff that has worked well. So maybe with that, we can start with Alessandro, and then Avent, and then Robert, and let's use sort of different reasoning and logics for one do and a don't rather than the same reasoning for both, please. Alessandro?
Yeah, thanks, Anton. So quite a few, but I'll mention let's say the top in my mind in terms of do's. For sure, I see that entrepreneurs are extremely effective when they're well prepared. So they do their homework, and what I mean by that is, they prepare for the fundraising process professionally. They seek help. They do their research. They understand their market. They understand their competition, and they're very, very clear in communicating that to target investors. So getting organized and sharing the information with full disclosure. I think that's extremely important. The don't is surely the first one that comes to mind is, don't second guess what investors are about. What I mean by that is sometimes entrepreneurs have an idea in their mind and they try to, as I said, second guess what investors might ask or might look for. And instead, I think it's extremely important to have a very well planned approach to the engagement process with investors. So, whether it's a cold call or a warm call or an introduction from a board member or your corporate finance advisor, you need to really be very clear about that strategy. But at the same time, I really value when investors are approached with a very sort of open and humble approach, but at the same time, with the confidence of asking questions, the confidence of trying to really understand what the investor is looking for and what value they can bring and what type of relationship the founder can build with them. And so trying as much as possible to create a level field in the relationship, even though I understand, especially the current climate, it can be quite difficult, but I think it's extremely important, and that create more authenticity and much better relationships. It might take longer, but I think over the long term is the winning approach. And I stop there. Thanks.
I'll just jump in next. I was going to say, well, first of all, just to the whole preparation thing, I'll come up with another point, but that would have always been my top point because I think it's so important. As far as do research your potential investors before you approach them. It's no point going for ones that aren't in the right sector, in the right stage. If you're looking for 500,000, don't go to an investor that invests 10 million at an advanced stage, because it's just not right. You're wasting your time, you're wasting theirs. So look for those ones that fit with what your business is doing, the target area. Also, look for those. Look in the press around deals. Which investors are actively doing deals at the moment? Because those investors have clearly got funds to spend. So do your homework on that and go, focus your time on the ones that are going to be right for you, not the 500 that are not going to be right for you. I think that'll save you a lot of time and effort, and the chances of getting a successful outcome will increase. And in terms of the don'ts, just make sure you're always being honest. If you don't have the answer to a question, just say, give me a day, I'll come back. I just want to check that. I'll go away, I'll come back. I don't have that information right now. Don't fudge an answer. Don't make up an answer that's not true. Be really, really honest. And at all times, while you're building that relationship with your investor, the honesty is so important, because if an investor loses faith in you or loses trust in you, it's going to really damage the relationship going forward, and has every chance of you not successfully closing a deal with that investor. That's me.
It's my turn.
Yep.
Great. Well, some good advice there. I would add to that, wherever, whenever possible. You know, we live in a LinkedIn world. Warm introductions matter, and they convert probably 50% more than the 2 to 3% that you might get for cold emails. So always ask your network for specific introductions to relevant investors. I emphasize relevant investors. As much as you can, run a tight pipeline process. So you can track 20 to 50 investors simultaneously in a CRM spreadsheet. Keep those conversations warm. Don't wait on one investor to decide. Evan talked about transparency. I'm a big believer in that. Be radically transparent, you know, address the challenges and risks up front. Investors will discover issues in due diligence anyway. So honesty builds trust. Have exact numbers ready. Don't round or estimate. Know your burn rate, your runway, traction metrics, customer numbers. You know, any vagueness signals a lack of control. And follow up quickly. You know, send thank you notes after meetings, or even responses, requested materials, and next steps immediately after every meeting. And speed signals professionalism. Practice your pitch, you know, relentlessly. You know, rehearse your pitch 10 times before an investor meeting. You can't unburn a relationship. And if you're kicking off a funding round, I suggest you start with 6, even more than 6 months runway. You know, fundraising takes time. Don't start when you have 8 weeks left. Work backwards from when you need the money. As far as I don't like to be negative, but you only get one shot with most investors. If you're not prepared, you permanently burn that relationship. So don't pitch before you're ready. Don't exaggerate traction. Inflated metrics get discovered in due diligence. Revenue claims should match your bank statements. And don't try to wing your pitch. You know, I'll just have a conversation. Is kind of code for I'm not prepared. Even informal meetings need prep. And don't let fundraising drag on. Beyond 6 months, you're starting to look desperate or unfundable. Set hard deadlines and stick to them. Don't go it alone. I mean, it's tough for solo founders, you know, but there's statistics saying that they raise at half the success rate of teams. So if you must be solo, you know, get yourself an advisory board to help compensate. I think I'll stop for that.
Well, thank you very much to all three of you. Really appreciate that. That's some very useful do's and don'ts. I think we can now go on to some questions. We've got some in the chat, but a quick reset of the conversation. And Dimitrios, please get ready to introduce yourself and ask your question. I've just unmuted you. So this is Startup Fundraising Q&A 159. We're going to be here now for the next 37 minutes, where we seek to help founders with whatever questions you may have in terms of fundraising for your business. Those questions can be on anything to do with fundraising, whether it's pitch decks or investor outreach, or maybe you want to know how much to ask for, when should you go out there. Maybe you need to decide whether you should go for angel grants, crowdfunding, VC, maybe a bank, or maybe you want to know how to prepare for a VC meeting. You want to talk about term sheets that you might have received, or how to do your data room and all that jazz. There literally are no wrong questions and no need to be shy about it either. It's a learning curve for us all. If you're on the live streams, whether you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, please be aware that unfortunately we are unable to monitor your questions there live. So you'll have to join us here on Microsoft Teams. It's audio only, which means you can tune in from anywhere via any platform or device. There should be links on all those live streams, but if you can't access it, simply go to our website, startuptoscaleup.club. Scroll down a little bit, you'll see Startup Fundraising Q&A 159. Click join. That'll take you to Luma, which is a quick registration, and there you'll find the link. And then when you make it here, simply drop your question into the chat like Demetrius has done, and we're going to go to him in a second. You then introduce yourself and fire away with your question. My advice is not to leave this for last second, please, because we do run out of time more often than not, and then we're unable to answer your questions. But without further ado, Demetrius, the floor's yours.
Hello, everyone from Greece. I'm Dimitrios Aslanis. I'm the founder and inventor of a UMX system that is against, very targeted against mosquitoes diseases. And we are seeking investors for mass production, since we have already evaluated in Africa our device. And we have also the publication with amazing results, very promising product, extremely promising actually. And I want to say that it's very difficult to, on our pitch, to make a precise or close how much is going to be the cost, like for each country, and how much is going to be the production cost. We use the maximum, which is we have asked around Europe, will be around $4 per unit, but we need data from the investor first, what type of production they want to do, if they want to do semi-automatic, automatic production, how big it's going to be, and like that. So based on the data of the investor, then we can provide a pitch that is close to reality.
I hear you. Thank you very much. Demetrius, can I ask you a couple of questions before we go into the sort of answers? Number one, what is your background personally, your professional background?
I did 3 years, I studied 3 years general medicine, and graduated as a dental technician, which has nothing to do with mosquitoes. I've been working on a family business, which was because I graduated also as a tourism management, and I was working on a family business for many years. And I discovered, let's say, this device for personal reasons, because I had huge problem. I couldn't find anything in the market that can help me with a mosquito. So this is 10 years ago. For 10 years now, I'm studying mosquitoes, and I have developed more than 32 different versions for outdoor, indoor, etc. And I am connected also with more than 70 presentations in universities that are on the field.
I see.
And
I see. And do you have? Yeah. Sorry, go on. Do you have a team with you? Do you have any co-founders, any advisors?
I have an investor, an angel investor that is supporting me all these years, and we want to go now, because we had to wait 6 years to get the evaluation from WHO. Unfortunately, even it's an emerging thing, it's an emerging project. We got the publication a few months ago, and now we want to approach investors that they can understand the technology.
Okay.
Is very simple.
And And just to clarify, Demetrius, this is something that reduces mosquitoes around you rather than protecting you from mosquitoes. Is that right? I don't want to get into the detail of the IP, but that's the.
I have the results of the evaluation, which they have been published from Parasites and Vectors, which is one of the most recognized worldwide scientific journal. It's based in UK. The results there with 6 devices in 12 hours, we succeeded 87.5% reduction, which is a world record. So.
Okay, and how does that compare to, I don't know, people like, so I've been to quite a few places, including Greece and where I was born in Albania. You often get mosquitoes, the same as in Africa and so on. And often I see them, they have these sprays around hotels and around houses that reduces the mosquitoes. So how does this device compare to that spray that is easily available in the markets? What's the benefit?
It's a long story. I will try to say it very, very quickly.
Please do.
It's based. The technology that I'm using is it's anthropocentric. That means that mosquitoes, because they attack to people, we have all the elements and all the attractants that we attract them. So. And the human body is producing them naturally. So we don't need any consumables and like that. The devices have been designed so they are using.
No, I meant in terms of efficiency, Demetrius. I meant in terms of efficiency. So
yeah, this is exactly what I'm describing.
Okay, so so that's why we need to cut it really short, Demetrius. Let's say the that spray destroys 1,000 mosquitoes, yeah, just for an argument's sake. What is the comparable to your device? Is it as good? Is it better? What's it like here?
It's first of all, it's a very targeted elimination. We have only 88 species that they are responsible for transmitting the diseases, and only the females of them. This device is eliminating only the females of the 88 mosquito species out of the 3,600 that exist, and they are very important to environment. We don't use any chemicals because the chemicals, they are going to environment, they're coming back to our plates actually, because it's an invisible enemy, and also exists something that is very important. They call it mosquito resistance. Doesn't matter what kind of chemicals we're using, they're not going to work in a while. We have to produce more stronger chemicals in order to have some efficiency and like that. But for a while again.
I see. No, that's fine. Now, I guess one last question in terms of what you've invented or put together. Is this something you can get a patent on? Have you applied for any patents?
Yes.
What's the situation there?
I have a patent. Yes, I have a patent in.
You have a patent. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'll give you my quick 2 pence, and then I'll pass you on to my experts. Number one,
Super.
you need a team around you, Demetrius. Whereabouts in Greece are you?
I'm in Athens.
In Athens,
the startup is based in London.
In London, okay.
And the team, you can find it on our website. I have professors from several universities and like that.
I hear. Okay. Yeah. Now here's what I would do if I were you. Whether it's in Greece through the Horizon and various other European programs, but first, before you get to that, I would get in touch with universities in Greece or London, whichever you have better connections, and you need to start doing this research yourself. If you go to an investor and you tell them, now I need data from you to tell me what you need, they're going to tell you where the door is. So you need to prepare all this stuff yourself. You need to have all this stuff ready. And that's why what I would do is find somebody who's also going to be a commercial person. Maybe that person could be a co-founder, an advisor, whatever it may be, or if you can afford to pay them, then probably even better. But that's where I would start. That's number one. Number two.
I have done all this. I have done already this.
Okay.
Now we are preparing a cooperation with Oxford University.
Perfect. But you've just mentioned to me that you need to speak to investors and ask them for data, how much it's going to cost, how many units they want and all that. No investor is going to do that. Number two, my advice would be, for now, forget investors, focus on grants, because there's big money in grants. The European Union.
They take a lot of years. They take a lot of years.
Not necessarily.
You need minimum 2 to 3 years.
For grants in the Horizon scheme, grants take roughly about 200 hours, no more than that. So it's not a lot of years. Pardon?
Sorry, I didn't hear you. You said 200
hours. A maximum to prepare for a good. Yes, to prepare for a good grant application is 200 hours, and you're not going to take years for them to give you the money. I mean, if you want, you can reach out. If you have a pitch deck, you can reach out to me later on LinkedIn, and I'll try and put you in touch with somebody at Innovate UK. They are connected with a few people at Horizon, but I also know a few other people in Horizon Europe and in the European Union. If you have a pitch deck, I can try and put you in touch with them. But you need to do all this work yourself. Personally, I would focus on getting grants, because there's a lot of good grants. You also have a lot of sort of philanthropic organizations. You have things like Microsoft, who's got some brilliant grants on that. You've got the UN. You said you've got a sort of a certification from a World Health Organization associated agency. These are the kind of people that will give you money, and you don't even need to give them any equity back. Personally, that's where I would focus. But let's see what my specialist is going to say on this. So maybe we can start.
Can I say something on that?
Of course, Dimitris. Of course.
That all these years, that even before we got the evaluation, because we did the official evaluation from WHO, we did our own evaluation here in Greece in several places. The results are always very promising. There's no compare. We cannot compare it with anything else that exists in the global market right now. And I have approached all the NGOs and even the Microsoft that you mentioned, like that. They have their own agenda, and as they came back to me with a reply, they said that we have our own projects that they were running, and which I know the progress, the projects. It's Volbachia and sterilization on male mosquitoes. This have been for many years, because they've been working on this for many years. They haven't been successful at all.
I hear you. No, that's fine. That's fine. So forget Microsoft, but I know for a fact that there are a lot of schemes in the EU that are giving a ton of money. Because again, you're talking to somebody who doesn't understand the science behind it, so you'll have to forgive my ignorance, right? But if this thing works, and if it does what you're saying it does, and it's better than what's out there in the market, I know for a fact there is big money being granted at the moment by Innovate UK, by the European Union, and various other organizations. But now I would love to hear from our experts what their advice is on this, and maybe we can start with Robert, then Avens, and last but not least, Alessandro.
I can provide you the official publication if you want. So there's no doubt for this. So.
All right, great, and be interested to see your deck. I mean, first off, you've got WHO certified validation with, what'd you say, 87.5% mosquito reduction. That's pretty compelling. a chemical-free approach at 4 years production costs. That kind of positions you pretty well for impact investors and as well as commercial deployment. I appreciate that you've kind of been around some of the houses, but you may not have been around all of the houses. Global Fund to Fight AIDS,
I did.
UNITAID, the Vaccine Alliance, World Health Organization's malaria program you probably know about. There's a whole list of guys. You also have development finance and government agencies, some specialized vector control organizations. I remember, I don't know if it's still running because of Trump, but in the US, they used to have the President's Malaria Initiative, PMI for short, and then their corporate strategics. So, I mean, grant funding, I agree that is a first target for you, I would suggest, and then impact investors, and then potentially strategic partnerships. You mentioned also that you have your company is in registered companies in the UK, in London. You might get some traction with the guys over at Sustainable Ventures. They kind of lean into climate related initiatives. That's an accelerator program, a workspace, and a fund combined. They're over at County Hall. And then lastly, if you are a UK entity, I presume, but I don't want to assume that you've registered for the Enterprise Investment Scheme in the UK. Have you done that?
I didn't understand the question, sorry, because my English is not so.
Not a problem. I can send you information on this, but there's something called the Enterprise Investment Scheme, EIS for short. If your company is a technology company and qualifies for that, and I would suggest that it does. Have you registered for EIS? If not, you should, depending on how much you're raising. If you're raising,
It's got to be within 3 years, though, Robert, right?
no, SEIS
No?
has got to be.
Sorry. Oh, SEIS. Sorry, you're right. Yeah. You're
Yeah,
right,
but
my bad.
EIS, no, that's the big brother of it. There's lots of information on SEIS and EIS and whether or not you qualify for it. I've written articles on it. You feel free to link with me on LinkedIn, and I can give you a steer on this stuff.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I will appreciate because we have tried several ways, and not only myself, also my team in several.
Well, there's many ways, but ultimately it's the way that worked, which is what you need to focus on. It's but there are lots of different ways to attack the market. I'd be interested in your process to date. Fundraising is a process. So anyway, I'll let the others contribute now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. David?
Yeah, I mean, not an awful lot more to say. I think there was really good advice around the grants and things. Just a couple of things that haven't been said. I mean, this is mission-aligned investors or funders of whatever type are going to be critical here, and there are ones, from the social sort of health side of things, and the fact that it's emerging markets focused. Just something to be aware of. Something I picked up was where the company's based in the UK and you're based in Athens, but you're targeting an African market. That's going to start getting complicated to find investors that will, it just starts to get a bit complicated.
I'm not focusing on Africa market because the market is global. The problem is already here in Europe. Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
And,
I know all the results to date have the programs you've run so far have been out of Africa, haven't they?
Only the evaluation will happen in Africa because the WHO, the certified institution from WHO, is based in. It's one of the biggest worldwide.
Yeah.
And it's based in Tanzania. That's why we did it there. But it's only the official evaluation.
Okay.
Because we had also several issues with Africa with corruption, etc., and like that. I don't want to mention it now. And but it's only there for the valuation now. It's published, so we have all the approval, the approval, the approves, and because until now we didn't have anything officially on our hands to say, listen, this is working, this is the best that is working right now, and we should use this. It's very easy to manufacture it. I think Europe, because what I see until now, that Europe is extremely slow on pushing emerging technologies, and that's why all the people, all the innovations and like that, they go to India and China. They end up there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I mean, I think everywhere it's those very early stage, but you just need to find the right people that are focused on this. But I think, and you know, the advice from Anton, and if he can steer you towards some grant funders, it sounds like maybe you're 6 to 12 months away from the VC funding round. But I think, yeah, I think that's good advice from Anton.
It's not really early stage because we are ready for manufacturing. We have everything ready for manufacturing, so there's nothing else is missing. It's not. It's only a matter of will. If somebody wants to manufacture here in Europe, it's so simple like that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and possibly that's what the grant funding could be towards that commercialization phase.
Grants, because we have also some people that they're working with grants and like that. They say that it's gonna take years and like that. So we don't want to waste a lot of time. We wasted already 6 years with WHO and the evaluation. So it's time to find more people that are willing, impact investors or people that they understand the emerging, because probably they have more the situation in Europe right now, and they can go ahead directly, because they don't need to build a factory specific for this one. They can use factories that already exist in Europe. They produce similar products, but with differences, of course, because the device has 21 innovation steps is included, and they can go directly to existing factory and make a mass production. So simple.
Okay, thank you. Well, you know, wishing you all the very best. It sounds
Thank you very much.
like a very good technology.
Thank you, Evans. Last but not least, Alessandro, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I've been following. I'm actually about to board a train, so I might be cut off. But what I was wondering was, yeah, sorry for the background noise. What I was wondering was, what type of feedback it sounds like you've really spoken to a lot of people. So what I was wondering was what type of feedback you have received, and whether you are keeping in mind this feedback in order to move the business forward. And the second thing, you mentioned that this is not an early stage business. You just need the production. However, you still need to probably understand, how the product would fit in the market and who would be the clients, the early adopters. And of course, production is key to, move the business forward and start selling the product. But at the same time, you might want to really share your equipment and technology with all potential customers and start getting feedback from them. So even though you need the capital and you need the production, any investor and any investment in production would really require a very good understanding of the market fit of your technology. And so that's something that I feel that is maybe might be missing, and it could be one of the reasons why the people you've spoken to so far have not really shown a lot of interest. So just some thoughts that came while I was listening to the conversation.
Yeah, it's to be honest, I think it's a matter of because investors, they get involved with so many different fields of scientific fields and like that, and also they have a lack of information what the situation is. For example, outside of our door right now, even in UK, there's a big problem with mosquitoes right now. In all the south countries of Europe, they have dengue, they have West Nile, they have chikungunya, they have serious diseases that they are expanding every year, and the problem is getting much bigger. So that means what we have in our hands until now as a technology is not working. It's so simple. Because if it was
Demetrios,
working,
can I ask you?
yeah,
Sorry, can I ask you? Do you have a pitch deck?
I do have a
Do you-
pitch deck. That's why I was telling you from the beginning that depends on the investor how much wants to invest, how big production wants to do, what type of production. Like
I
if
hear
we
you.
want,
Which is why I mentioned earlier the way investors work, and not just investors, but even the people that will be giving the grants. They want you to have this ready. They want you to tell them how much you need, not the other way around. So if you can get a pitch deck that does that, if you can get and do the research of, what is the cheapest way for you to produce them, who will be the people buying them, what is the size of the market, this is extremely important. Once you have
the size
that,
of is global. The
no, I
size is
I
global.
mean money wise. How much money do you think, let's say, you can make in the first year? That's what it comes down to.
In a
Because
in a
yep.
Yeah, sorry.
No, go on. I was just saying that's literally how much it comes down to. They want you to know the numbers, and if you don't know the numbers, if you don't tell them what you think the numbers are, and if you don't sound confident about those numbers, that's when their interest disappears. Does that make sense? Because even the granting organizations like the EU, Innovate UK, and so on, even they want to know that if they give you the money, you are going to make, let's say, 20 times more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course, but it's something that we have faced in the past with all the investors that we we sit down on the table and they said, okay, we're gonna manufacture in Europe, in India, in China, and like that, and how big is gonna be the manufacturing, the production. Um, it's it's something that we have to work together with the investor because we are
No,
seeking
no,
for.
no, Dimitrio, trust
Yeah.
me, you don't have to work with the investor. The investor wants you to tell them all this stuff, not to work it down with them. Does that make sense?
Um, it makes sense, but it's difficult to to
Then
become to become
I hear
reality.
you. No, I hear you. Until you figure that out, then you're going to go around in the same circles, which is why suggested at the beginning, go to some universities, get some people to help you with some research, get some commercial people as well, sit down, make a list of how much money you need now to produce what, and what is the market, what is the profit projected. Once you have all of that, put it in a pitch deck and then reach out to these. Until you've done that, I'm afraid you're going to struggle. And with that, I'm going to leave it at that so that we can move on to the next question. But I have to say, what you're saying you've built there sounds really promising. You just have to figure out a way now to work out the finances and the commercial side of it. And it sounds to me that you are not able to do that yourself, which is fine because we can't all know everything, right? And that's why successful startups are the ones that bring the right people around them to help them take their startup from this stage to the next and so on. But if and when you have a, yeah, go on.
The scientific the team that I have is scientific mostly, and we work with mosquitoes exclusively. We don't have, so maybe the investor can bring us a specialist.
Again, that is not going to happen. That's what I'm trying to clarify here, Demetrius. They want you to find the people yourself.
It's not possible then somebody who invented something to know about production, to know about advertising.
You are right. You are right about that. But what they expect is for you to go and find those other people. They know that you can't know everything, and that is fine. But they want you, as the leader, they want you to go and find those people, not for them to do that work for you.
Yes, I understand. But all this, they need big capitals in order to make such a big research, because we are talking about the global market.
You can do that on Google for a few hours. I've had to do these things myself for previous businesses.
Can I make a suggestion, Anton?
Yes, you can, Robert, because we've just spent a whole hour on this.
Yes, we have.
And we're going around in bleeding circles. Go ahead.
So you might want to consider pulling some commercial expertise onto an advisory board. Advisory boards don't cost a lot. And many advisory boards are very happy just to engage in a promising startup like yours. That might be a route forward to get some commercial experience onto your team in a way that doesn't require you to pay out salaries. That's my only comment. The expertise is
no, that's a brilliant comment, Robert. That is brilliant. And by the way, again, you can go to a university and get the students to do that research. True. There are plenty of universities willing to engage with that. So you need to think outside the box, Demetrius. But best of luck, and I hope it goes well.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Right. We are now 4 minutes just before we part, and we've just spent an hour on Demetrius' business, so we haven't got time for other questions. Maybe next time I need to be a better host. Any parting words before we let you go then, team? Because I don't want to go through more questions. Let's start with the lady of the house if we can. And then Alessandro, that might get cut off because he's traveling. And last but not least, Robert. Okay, just a quick one. I saw there wasn't a question we didn't get to answer around crowdfunding, so I'll try and throw something in there for that. But, I think with any kind of funding, and like we saw earlier, is time the right funding for the right stage of your business, whether it is grant funding, if it's crowdfunding, if it's a VC, wherever possible, keep things simple, straightforward, don't complicate things for future rounds. But work out which is best for the stage of your business, because that way you will get the most out of that funding. And often that is more than just the money. With crowdfunding can be brilliant for raising your company's profile. The right VC at the right time can help you with connections to meeting people, and connecting you with the right organizations. So make sure that you are targeting the correct funders at the right time.
Thank you very much.
Do you want me to say something? I mean, on the crowdfunding, I mean, your question, I'm happy to take that offline. Crowdfunding strategies. I mean, there are lots of different types of crowdfunding, so it depends on how much you're looking to raise. There's reward-based crowdfunding. There's community equity crowdfunding. There's debt crowdfunding. That's niche, but it's clean. Zero equity dilution, and on the investor agreements to avoid on crowdfunding, drag along rights for crowd investors, never give small investors the power to block exits. and also information rights. You don't want to necessarily promise quarterly reports to 200 plus individuals. But there's a lot more that I can say on that. I'm happy to take it offline if you like. I would say as a general comment, it's tough out there, but it's not impossible. Funding, equity funding is available. There's a lot of cash in the market. So be organized, have a process, be tight with that process, and don't give up.
Thank you very much, Tim. I really appreciate your time, and apologies we went on and on and on with just one startup. Nevertheless, a couple of quick things before my parting words. Number one, we run 6 regular sessions, helping founders for free. Monday's talent, Tuesday's product and tech, Wednesday's growth, Thursday's fundraising, second Friday of each month it's UK startup law, and third Friday of each month it's UK startup finances. They're all from 12 to 1 p.m. UK time. They're all available on our website, startuptoscaleup.club. And when you actually go onto the site, you may also want to join our WhatsApp communities. We've got a few interesting groups there with fellow founders you can connect with, investors, other operators, of course, our brilliant panelists and mentors. And you can, at the top and bottom of our site, on the right-hand side, you'll see the WhatsApp icon. You'll also be able to find a WhatsApp group link that we have specifically for startup fundraising. I've just posted that in the chat here on Microsoft Teams. A reminder to those of you on the live streams that unfortunately we are unable to monitor your questions live. So next time, if you want to ask our panelists anything, you'll have to join us here on Microsoft Teams. And the best way to do that, again, it's either to go onto our website, startuptoscaleup.club, or perhaps follow the calendar on our Luma events schedule. And just before my parting words, one quick thing. When you've got questions, please try and be respectful of these panelists that take time out of their busy day to come and help us here for an hour. It's only an hour. There's only so much we can do. So we are not here for you to convince us that what you're doing is the best thing in the world. We are here to advise you what we think based on our experience, not to give you financial advice, but based on our experience, what we think is the best way for you to attract fundraising. So you don't need to convince us of anything. Introduce yourself, ask your question, and unless somebody's asking you back, just leave it at that. 1, and 2, be as concise as you possibly can, because we need to be respectful of both the panelists, but also other founders that would love to get some help. Now, as far as my parting words are concerned, remember the startup journey can be both exciting, but also quite challenging. So try to be kind to yourself and everyone else for that matter, but also try to have some fun. Life's too short not to. Otherwise, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. We've got some amazing finance specialists and chief financial officers, accountants, and so on joining us tomorrow for UK Startup Finances Q&A. That is 12 to 1 o'clock. Have a great day and God bless you all. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye all.